Welcome back, everybody, to Star-Crossed Kings. King Stormless defeated up-and-comer Bike Rush on Sunday. Today is Tuesday, which means that it is the beginning of Week 3 of Star-Crossed Kings 3, which actually technically means the Challenger pool gets cleared for anybody to be able to participate again, but since only Bike Rush is ineligible to contend, that doesn't actually make that big of a difference, but Challenger pool is wide open. Anybody may participate once again in Week 3 of Star-Crossed Kings. Stormless will continue to defend his throne. Maybe try and rack up some challengers. Before the end of the tournament on this coming Sunday. His first challenger today is going to be Sherlock, playing as U.S. forces in the north, which means that they did the base positions wrong. just for fun. Just for funsies.
That's it. Points ours.
Now we're going to see Stormless going with Overcommando West, going hard for the right with his Stern Pioneers, getting a 3 Folks Grenadier opening. And he has Special Operations, Fortifications, Breakthrough versus Sherlock's Mechanized Airborne Armor, which is notably not have Rifle Company. If he does want to go Flamethrowers, he'll need to go with Assault Engineers. And of course he has Mechanized. Which I don't think he's going to pick, because if he were going to, he would have by now for the WC-51. Airborne's always a good pick, especially against Overcommando West. Easily make those work. And we will see that Sherlock has made an early push for Stormless cutoff building. And Folks Grenadiers are going to start trying to put pressure on that from range. Stern Pioneers jump into a green cover position here. Closing into this extremely short distance is probably a mistake, especially with more riflemen moving up to support. They've now taken heavy damage, should not have left that green cover, I don't think. Riflemen moving up on the flank of these Stern Pioneers will probably be able to force them from this position. By standing and waiting in green cover, though, they are definitely pulling ahead in this engagement. The SWS moves out to do a bit of a push right there, and the Riflemen have no choice but to retreat. That very delicate little push made it, I think, actually quite a big difference in that engagement. Of course, the truck is now in some danger from these riflemen. This squad in the building also forced away. The SWS looks like it's going to be fine, and those riflemen just need to retreat, or they're just going to get pushed around to death. Stern Pioneer squad going to town. Can't believe it only has 1 kill. Apparently, Folks Grenadiers are sniping everything. But they've done a lot of damage. Oh no, they have 4 kills. I had the wrong squad highlighted. So yeah, 4 kills and Vet 1. They're off to a great start. All 3 squads of riflemen brought down to 2 men remaining. That's a lot of bleed. If I could do math, like 200 manpower. That's almost the price of a full squad's worth of losses, which is not something you want to have to spend 3 minutes into the game. So Sherlock is now very behind after that engagement. Very good opening for Stormless right there. Despite the fact that Sherlock got control of the building, which normally should help you pull engagements into your favor. Tier 3 here from Stormless, so he is probably going to be going with a flak half-track to give him more mobility. And, maybe help him expand his map control already a little bit, but he's already got a lot of map control. Certainly doesn't need a flak half-track to help him break any containment. He actually managed to cut Sherlock off already in the very opening moments of the game, who has also gone with a very early ambulance. 3 rifles into ambulance, which is probably one of the most conservative builds as U.S. forces you can do, other than fuel caches. Raket Morpher secures the house here before Sherlock can do so. He's trying to move in for a cutoff maneuver again. Folks Grenadiers arrive to support, and Stern Pioneers are fully healed and move their way to support here as well. Folks Grenadiers will go down pretty quick if they get focus fired. They're going to jump in the building. Stern Pioneers trying to get in close range are probably going to get focused down pretty fast. Whoa! That Raket Morpher snipe, though. Alright. Looks like the engagement is definitely won. Two two consecutive, not consecutive, but two Rakettenwerfer snipes right there. I think it's killed 3 riflemen. No, it's killed 4! That Rakettenwerfer's killed 4 riflemen. 3 with the actual gun, and then 1, I assume, with the Volksgrenadiers supporting. So that Rakettenwerfer did an oddly good job of holding the line right there in that engagement, but to be fair, it looked like Sherlock was probably not going to win that engagement anyway. He has gone airborne, will field himself a 50 cal, which makes it look like he might be going captain tier. He's not unlocking any tiers for now, though. He's fielded himself a squad of Pathfinders to give himself a slightly larger core of infantry. He will be operating on 3 riflemen, a 50 cal, and a squad of Pathfinders, but he is getting boxed in pretty badly here.
What the hell am I meant to do with these? All done over here. Well, grab your shit and follow me.
What is with all these snipes? What? Oh, poor Sherlock. He's losing so many infantry to anti-tank weaponry. 50 cal on its way. A couple squads need to reinforce and heal here in the base. Volksgrenadiers look like they are going to get forced away from this green cover position. Sherlock should be able to get his territory here back under control. Volksgrenadiers on the left side fuel point doing what they can. Get that fuel point captured. Holding this cutoff is hardly even really necessary anymore, as Stormless has both fuels. He's cut off the left side munitions. He's gonna hold up in a tiny scrap of green cover right there behind that tank trap, while he waits for Sturm Pioneers to backcap the rest of this. And he has not gone flag half track. He is going to go Puma. I think he is in an early enough lead this game that Puma could probably be made to work. He's not having that much trouble handling Sherlock's infantry. So Puma might be able to do light harassment of infantry and later maybe snipe the ambulance if it scouts the base. And depending on the tier Sherlock goes with, other uses for it might emerge. Sturm Pioneers have to back up a little bit out of 50 cal range. Pathfinders providing vision for that 50 cal means that it can definitely fire through its full effective range, which is pretty long. 50 cal does have a pretty good range. Just like all machine guns.
A capture point is under attack. They're trying to outflank us. Shift your fire. Under fire.
Puma's out of range for his coaxial machine gun to do anything. It's just going for snipes right now, which takes time. Over here on the right side, we will see Sherlock doing light harassment of the fuel. These 2 points currently decapped, so he won't be able to connect that, but at least he can slow down Stormless fuel income a little bit. Apparently the Puma did snipe that 50 cal to death. Wow. That's just so many snipes. I feel like I've never seen so many snipes in one game before. Hi Prey 36, I didn't really understand your comment. But, how's it going? You know. Looks like rear echelon troops won this. Squad needs to retreat. Not sure Stormless is going to react. He may have just assumed that was a one engagement. You know, that's his. Panzerschreck squad get wiped over there by rear echelon troops of all things. Captain has been fielded here by Sherlock, so that's going to make the Puma kite a little bit more safely from here forward. Continues charging. Another bazooka shot connects right there. It's going to pop smoke just to make sure it gets to safety. Rear echelon troops could continue their advance across the right side. A lot of uncontested territories over here. Pathfinders need further reinforcement. Sherlock has been bleeding manpower like crazy this game. His opponent, on the other hand, has 800 in the bank. He's used it for just about anything, including, of course, replacing the loss of that Volksgrenadier squad earlier. He hasn't chosen a commander yet, so no Fallschirmjäger or Fusiliers or anything. Actually, he doesn't have access to Fallschirmjäger. He does have the MG34, Pack 43 eventually, and Fusiliers and the Sturmoffiziers, so he has plenty of options for spending his manpower. Sherlock, sensing that he is behind for fuel, is going to go Captain Tier, as we've seen, and start getting some AT guns out to try and protect himself against the threat of enemy vehicles. There is already, of course, the Puma on the field, so you should be able to find an opportunity to make that work.
We're losing a capture point. That's it. Point's ours. Area secured.
I feel like this Raketenwerfer is going to one-shot that squad. Any second Raketenwerfer shots is going to nail them. Puma moves up to do harassment. Puma snipes, I think, are actually not that unusual. They happen every now and then. I don't know numbers, but they seem to happen pretty occasionally, even without the coaxial machine gun. Here comes the AT gun.
Capture point is being overrun. God damn it! Someone get us out! The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
I'm tanning. Well, I did go to the aquarium recently. The Baltimore Aquarium. It was a very sunny day. In fact, I bought a coffee mug. Ooh, I want to show it off on stream. When I actually have coffee to drink, I will do that. Pathfinder's cutting them down pretty fast. They do get yet another pinch trick snipe right there. What is that, 6 this game? Right between Raketenwerfers and Panzerschrecks. Squad just got wiped though for Sherlock. This squad looks like it's about to get wiped as well. Over here on the left side, it was these riflemen not being monitored. Captain on this front, forced to retreat. Also, apparently, Stormless decided to spend all of his manpower float on 4 units of call-in infantry, Sturmoffiziers, and then 3 Fusiliers, flooding the battlefield with them, catching Sherlock off guard over here, and he will now very much struggle to keep up with Stormless' sheer quantity of infantry, especially considering his only real counter is this Stuart, and I don't really know if I expect a Stuart to perform that well against what Stormless has on the field. A Raketenwerfer, 2 Shreks, and the Puma. It's gonna be pretty rough. Stormless has such good map control that he is moving to set up a tier 4 over here on the right side.
We're losing a capture point.
Hi, Wolfenstein.
Who's got eyes on the shooter?
Spare squad of Fusiliers heading right to start harassing these territories. Sherlock looks like he's pretty much lost this, unless his Stuart can pick up a ton of wipes, which I don't really think is going to happen. But I guess it's possible. Sturm Pioneer's forced to retreat there. He does appear to be making light progress over here on the left side, with the AT gun moving up to cover his advance from the Puma, and the Stuart trying to clean up infantry. And Puma's about to reveal itself very dangerously right there. Pop smoke, realizing its mistake. There's a bazooka snipe. Turning things back in Sherlock's favor a little bit there. Puma making a very wide flank, trying to find an opportunity to get behind the Stewart. The AT gun is still here though. If that Stewart shell shocks the Puma, it'll probably be destroyed. I don't think this is gonna work. Eats that shot, and now doesn't look like there's any hope of escape. Shell shot connects. Puma is stunned. Big flank by these infantry to try and take the Stewart down in return. There goes the Puma. The smoke screen will block this squad from firing though. And it looks like the Stewart might get clear. AT gun is pulling back to safety. Rifleman moving up to cover the Stewart's retreat. Volksgrenadiers are going to just barrel past them, trying to find that Stewart. They're getting cut down very quickly. Stewart is going to eat one volley of Panzerschrecks. Oh, and that laser-guided rocket will connect. Stewart goes down. And Stormless will get out of that engagement with the dead Puma, but also having picked up the Stewart, Sherlock was unable to keep those Volksgrenadiers at bay. I guess primarily due to the loss of his own 50 cal. Without a suppression source and without enough firepower to deter those infantry, there was just nothing he could do. And a huge blob is on its way. To push Sherlock completely back off of his cutoff. Tier 4 is up over here. No units fielded out of it yet. We might just see Stormless going straight for Panther. Although, I think that even Panzer II might be able to get the job done, especially with Sherlock going pack howitzer. He's been cut off so much, and he went Stewart, so Sherman isn't ever going to arrive this game, basically. Not at this rate.
75mm howitzer standing by. HMG are available for paradrop.
Move! Stay low! Stay low! They just promoted us! About fucking time!
Stern Pioneers have to pull back to safety.
P-47 air support now available. Capture complete! Recruits are on the line.
Get ready for action. Enemy squad! Cover! Clearing
A lot of squads retreating back into Stormless base.
Someone get us out of here!
We will have a Panther soon. For now, he's just trying to hold the line with a few squads of infantry clumped in cover. Sherlock will make another feeble attempt for some right side territories with an extremely wounded squad. I feel like that's asking for it a little bit, but alright. Tier 2 going up right here. Sherlock might even spot that. You can't see through this thing, so maybe not actually.
Squad ready!
We've dropped to 200 points. Under fire!
That squad is forced to retreat.
Contact! Get down! Enemy contact!
Stormless has a lot of infantry making their way back to the front line, take things back under their control. Squad of rear echelon troops making its way towards the right side. We have a new 50 cal on the field. We've got 2 riflemen, pathfinders. Sherlock has a small working corps of infantry. I don't think there's any realistic chance of him catching up. Even with that wipe right there, he might get wiped in return on the right side. I think his manpower bleed has been so much that even without that many wipes, he's just extraordinarily behind. He doesn't have any paratroopers out. He doesn't have any weapon upgrades on any of his riflemen. He doesn't have any tools that he needs to equalize the manpower game without Stormless just walking into the 50 cal. Or miracle wipes by the pack howitzer, I guess.
Crowds are taking one of our points.
None of which he has received yet. Just getting boxed in harder and harder and losing VPs. He only has 146 remaining, and there's no sign of this game turning around. He does have access to one P-47 rocket strafe, which will be extremely useful for fighting off whatever Stormless fields next, which looks like it's not going to be a Panther. It looks like it's going to be a King Tiger, because it went tier 2. So P-47 will help do light damage to that. 1 AT gun though, and 2 bazookas. Even with P-47 rocket strafe, I don't think can beat a King Tiger. Once it arrives, there may not be anything Sherlock can do.
capture point.
I mean, it doesn't really have a collar, no.
Our supply line's
got-
cut.
it's got
Germans
buttons.
are making a push.
Get ready.
What the hell am I meant to do with these recruits? Ground's ours. Now spread out. Well,
Enemy contact! Where's he
there's
at?
a major reporting for action. A capture point is being overrun.
Riflemen moving to take control of territory on the left side. Stormless forces are making their way back towards this cutoff.
Our supply line just got cut off.
Pack howitzer actually gets a lucky suppression off over there. 50 cal moves to support in this engagement. It's apparently too late to suppress those Fusiliers though, and Point gets decapped. This is the second time, by the way, that Stormless has used breakthrough tactics, and you can see that Point's decap very fast when that's active. So that's pretty neat. It's fun to see him utilize it now when he already has an advantage to take territory extremely quickly.
Just got a report of an infantry unit being wiped
Major
out.
just suicided into the Fusiliers over there on the right side. Still extremely far away from a tier 4 unit because of Sherlock's lack of map control. And the King Tiger is only about 20 fuel away. Stormless has also been floating just enough manpower to be able to get it out. We'll be forced to make a retreat here from the front line. So Sherlock will briefly get some territory back under his control, I think.
At 100 points.
This ain't the time to ease up!
A capture point is being overrun.
But it's probably pretty much going to be checkmate once that KT gets here.
That's it. Points out.
They're trying to outflank us!
Contact! We're down to 75 goddamn points.
They got us zero!
Even with all these retreats and even with Stormless floating, Sherlock is still struggling to get any territory at all over here on the left side. He's going to drop himself his first squad of paratroopers at 23 minutes in, finally. Making their way into the base. Rear echelon troops just losing to Fusiliers at range right there. A couple of squads are going to go right to try and slow down the victory point drain. Meanwhile, the King Tiger is in production. These Pathfinders are scouting the base a little bit, I guess.
Someone get us out of here!
Get suppressive fire on those krauts! Fire on sight! Area fire, goddammit! Orders coming in! Give me cover! Go ahead.
Team weapons making their way out of the left side. Rear echelon troops taking control of the fuel point. Pathfinders moving to grab the victory point as well. Over here, this VP has been taken by the captain, and paratroopers upgrading with Thompsons.
Upgrade complete!
You know, the upgrade doesn't complete in time for them to engage well. And they're forced to retreat a little on the early side, and that was probably their one chance to engage well. King Tiger's going to complete soon. It almost didn't even make it to the field. Stormless almost won on VPs too quickly.
Cover your sector.
Can anyone get on that flank?
We're on the hook over here!
Victory point clock is stopped. A couple of squads making their way across the left side have turned map control slightly more blue. Here comes the King Tiger to, I assume, seal the game. No M6 mines down. That could maybe immobilize this. Just a P-47, 1AT gun. And the captain. And Pack Howitzer, actually. Pack Howitzer has a pretty good chance of hitting a King Tiger because it's so big. And its penetration is good enough that sometimes a shot will go through. King Tiger takes his first shot at rifleman in the building, which will leave the structure immediately. The right side victory point is falling back into Stormless's control.
Heavy tank is chewing us up!
Here comes the P-47. No shots connecting with those airborne yet. Light damage. Nothing too serious, brought down to maybe a little over a quarter. Over here on the left side, a triple cap is going to get set up by Fusiliers, activating breakthrough tactics again, which is probably going to be the game, regardless of any further engagements. And that's going to be game one taken by Stormless with a 478 VP victory on Angoville. Well played, Stormless. Let's see if he can pull off a similar performance in game two.